The agenda, public comment.
Yes. So some questions that I have and other residents are curious about is how will the election be determined? Is it, are we voting on each position? Is it cumulative, ranked choice voting? It's not clear in any of the notices. How many registered voters are in the district? If there's less than 1,000, that limits the early voting times, and so I'd like to be able to communicate that to residents. Is there a list of addresses of registered voters? Most election authorities provide that to candidates, or at least a map of something listing all the addresses in the district. Who comprises the early voting ballot board? What is the rate of pay for the election workers? Is there a better convenient posting location that we could have within the district that's not on Kingsland? Desert Ivy Park might be a good solution near where people actually walk around. And then in going through previous minutes, I noticed that in December of 22, Costello recommended that we build the new well and advised that surface water wasn't coming anywhere near MUD 345. They referenced MUD 216 and said that they were the first ones that would be in line with City of Houston and weren't getting surface water until 25. There was no mention of the West Park Municipal Utility District, who is, as everyone knows, the only MUD that can handle our entire district in an emergency situation. And it is converting soon and will eliminate our emergency water interconnect if we are unable to accept their surface water. I'm a little concerned that no one on the board and the engineer did not catch this. And it wasn't until I brought it up a couple months ago that it's even being considered that we might lose our emergency interconnect when West Park converts and we don't have any way to accept it.
Okay. Registered voters are in the district. I can tell you it's over 1,000.
It is over 1,000.
Yep. The posting location for, that's on board the industry. Like to.
Other than that true statement, what we just about West Park and you know, what would happen if efficient one of the
It is a true statement.
Yes.
It's a true statement that we hadn't even considered it. You said that we hadn't considered it, that no one caught it. I didn't think that was discussed. So that was.
It was not discussed in the December 22 meeting when the well was decided. West Park was not mentioned in the minutes. I wasn't here. It wasn't recorded. I can only go by what's in the minutes. West Park was not mentioned in the minutes. Only 216 was mentioned in the
We weren't the information that we got was a research from the district engineer for West Park MUD. They were the ones when I had reached out to them this couple months ago that we weren't privy to.
That was the.
We do need to probably discuss that a little more though, because you know, if the board does decide to keep that interconnect, with them, we're gonna have to switch forming. Jason and them are gonna have to do all the drawings and get the approvals and everything, and that will take probably pretty close.
We coordinated that last week. Our water guys will, once they get authorization, take about a year for design.
Or do you guys? West Park is the only well goes down. Last couple times. Correct me if I'm wrong, but not legally required to have.
You just need an interconnect that if you're, in order to be a public water system, you have to have interconnect. You have more than 250 connections.
Or two sources of water.
Two sources of water. And so,
Whether it be one, whether it be two wells or one well and an interconnect, any combination of that. So hopefully once we get the second water well, then that's something to consider. That maybe West Park can eventually go away, but I wouldn't do that.
well, I mean, you have more than one. You have an interconnect. It's not just West. Question, it seems to me, is important board you have an the district. Not required by the rules, but if because once West Park does effective.
Is a point about accuracy. The West Park Regional Water Authority has had this plan in place for some time, so it should have been known in 22. That West Park is going to be converting. Their long-term plan, which West Park is a part of, has been published for years.
You recording this, and you don't have privy to all the conversations had over there.
I'm recording this because that is legally allowed per open meetings.
You're making statements that aren't necessarily, that's what I'm.
They are accurate. You're entitled to disagree. Sorry, the
No,
West,
that's okay.
the West
The
Harris
West Harris
County
County,
Regional
but
Water
if-
Authority.
Or did you guys? Anything else?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, agenda item 2 is we're going to approve the minutes of the March 18th. Those were sent last week. Out. Any questions, comments? Have any? Please go.
Second.
Favor? Agenda item 3 is the bookkeepers report, and Kayla is here with us.
Here gracing you with my presence today. Yaneth is in training. If y'all will flip past cover page, page 2 is the spotlight report for your month for the month. It's just showing the what a CIP is and giving you detail on all that. You do have one in place with your engineer, so y'all are good to go there. It's just more for informational purposes on this page since y'all do already have a CIP in. You'll flip to page 3, your monthly financial summary for your general operating funds. You'll have a little over 9.1 million available in there, and your reserves today are 53 months. Page 4, your cash flow report for your operating account. Everything above the line is voids and holding checks from last month. Checks 11,665 through 11,681 for approval today, and that does include payout number 3 for CSEW Industries for your listing 1 and 2. Page 5, the cash flow report for your operator account. We have accounts receivable coming in, a transfer out to your checking to cover, transfer out to your checking due to that AR coming in, and then your bank fee also. Pages 6 through 9, the actual versus budget comparison for the month of February, which is your first month in your fiscal year. You'll flip to 9, you'll see that y'all are pretty on target for your budget. Good so far, but you're only 1 month in. Pages 10 to 11, balance sheet showing your current assets and liabilities. 12 is your monthly financial summary for your sewer treatment plant. You'll have 132,000 in that account. 13 is the cash flow report for your sewer treatment plant. Above the line is a holding check from last month, checks 3213 through 3219. Pages 14 and 15, the actual versus budget comparison for the month of February. Again, first month in your fiscal year. We have billed out for all expenses incurred in there. 16 is your monthly financial summary for your joint water plant. You'll have 265,000 in that account. 17, the cash flow report for your joint water plant checking. Above the line is 2 holding checks from last month, 652.17 through 52.24 for approval today. Is 18 and 19, the actual versus budget comparison for February for your joint water plant. We have billed out for all expenses. Page 20, investment profile, just showing the different rates out there. They have decreased a touch since your last meeting. And if you'll flip to 21, it's my understanding that y'all approved the CD we invested last month. So we did purchase that. You'll see that at the bottom, the Wallace Bank CD there for 5.25. And just wanted to know if you guys wanted to continue us requesting them monthly, or if you wanted just to bring it to you as we go each month. Up to you guys on that, but we can do one for April. We can do one for a 9-month, a 12-month. Start staggering them back out like we did before, and start laddering them as they mature monthly. We can circle back to that, guys, if y'all want to. Pages 22 and 23, your cash flow forecast, showing your estimated reserve budgeted at 47 months. And the last page there is your sales tax revenue history. You did receive a payment for January for $10,375. That is all I have for y'all, aside from just getting some confirmation on how y'all want to proceed with investment.
You should continue to ladder some.
You want us to work through the ladder system again now that we're available to, or able to do that to our best ability?
Was that mean as basically we're just going to continue to stagger them, right?
Staggering.
Right. We
Yeah.
want to have at least one monthly that matures. That way, if you need it for
Right.
any reason, it's
Right,
available.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That makes-
You only have 6 months worth, so we can start reaching out and getting anywhere from 6 to a one year, 6 months to a 1 year CDs as needed, as we're seeing them available. So
Hey, can you remind us what regulations we're bound by in terms of
But market account.
we can't invest in anything,
No,
right?
no, you have public funds, you
We're
can.
public funds and we're restricted in what
I think there was some comment made that saying 2022 was a poor performing year for the district. Of course, everybody knows 2022 had very, very low interest rates for the
exactly what I was
majority
about
of
to
the
say.
year. So obviously that person doesn't know what they're talking about. So y'all want to continue with the staggering?
yes.
You want us to bring it to your attention each month, or do you want us to just go out and look for them for you as?
Let us know if you would, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for this one, do you want me to get your approval to do them, or just let you know what we've done at the next?
Kayla, how much do you recommend?
I'm looking.
Angela, please, we gotta understand.
I'm looking at it here. I would see that we could do a 6 month and we could do a PD. We would only get either of those if they're above 5.25%. So I could recommend them to our investment team, see what they can find, and then next month you'll see them. So if y'all would like me to proceed with those two. The one would mature in, well, you don't need a 6 month, you need a 9 month. One would mature in January, and one would mature in April.
I just think we want the highest possible rate at the time.
Yeah, I would think so. And then we also have to keep in mind what our future draws may be needed for ongoing work we're doing in the district and the needs that are going to be when those are.
Do we have a view? I know we have the capital plan. Have we looked at that capital plan to match dates and projected budget cash flow? Sure that we're.
I can get with
to Rhett's
Jason and
point.
make sure we're on the right page.
Please do.
Yeah.
Yes,
To make sure.
absolutely.
Have enough cash to authorize.
Yeah,
Right.
and you're also fluid in your reserve account if for any reason we need it.
And the longest maturation period or is 1 year, right? Should be pretty safe, but I think. to
And
Rhett's
you're
point,
also
it's
able
probably-
to close those at any point. You just have,
Small penalty?
yes,
Yeah.
if you needed to close anything early,
Okay.
there's just a, right, but you are able to.
Okay, great.
Y'all are authorizing UCDs and ladder, and not less than 5.2. Is that right?
Our current level is, yeah.
Yes.
And Rob?
Any other questions on the bookkeeper's report?
Thank you.
All right, if we can get a motion to approve the report, authorize payment, authorize. Okay, agenda item 4, tax.
All right, board, if you want to pull out your Wheeler report for the month of March, we started off at $327,267.06. Taxes collected, $9,169. Some of that going towards tax year 2022. After last month's disbursements, left the district at $133,407.14. This month's disbursements, $2,224.07. Leaving cash balance $131,233.07. Very quiet month. I only have 5 checks for your review and approval today. Some corrections going back to taxpayers. Following page is your historical. The district was at 96.51. As of today, you're at 96.61. So just a small bump. It's not percentage-wise where I'd like us to be, but we're still okay on the budget. And then we are going to be authorizing the getting involved. You're here on the agenda. Final page, calculation of cash, breakdown of your income and disbursements. Please let me know if you have any about my report. And just because we are recording, if there are any taxpayers that do need help, they shouldn't be afraid to call our office to get an installment plan. Let's see. It says there's 88 real properties that are delinquent, but that is including some deferrals and over 60
Amounts.
Right.
HOA.
So if anyone has a connection, they can get me with the HOA. Usually if a board member calls that property management company, hey, you haven't paid our taxes, usually gets that taken.
Okay, board, any questions with respect to collector's report? If we get authorized payment of the.
Motion?
Okay, just for your notes, we are not achieving anything. The books are clean.
Bring it back next month.
Okay.
All right, agenda item 5 is the delinquent. We do have a report for you all. We included a copy with your back, and then I think also brought report from Builder Collins and Mott, your delinquent attorney. There is no action items, but it does have the 2020 personal property. not begin July. There's no action for you. If you have any, let us know. Relate to Purdue Brand. Item 6 is that adoption of the resolution authorizing an additional real property taxes, July 1, and then authorizing your that additional January authorized earlier than real property taxes of their personal house and move it to avoid paying tax. So we recommend the 23 passed. If they do not collect, they do not get paid. So if they get paid, the district. All in favor?
Aye.
Item 7, engineers report. Jason.
Good afternoon, board. If you follow along with one-page report that I have here, item 7A, these are all the CIP projects. For all 3 of the projects, water plant phase 1 improvements, the second water well, and the wastewater treatment plant phase 1, we're all starting design 3 of those projects. Item 7B, the generators at the 2 lift stations. Surface gas has still not been completed at CenterPoint at those 2 lift stations. I called the contractor. The contractor put in a call to CenterPoint. They have not responded back, so continue to bug the contractor for him to bug. With that work being done, the pay estimate number 3 in the amount of $90,091.80 is presented for board approval for their work they did to set the generators at those sites. Item B2, the joint wastewater treatment plant emergency generator. The generator is set now at the wastewater treatment plant. Again, they put in the service call to set the service gas for that. No pay estimate. Item C and D, none to report. Item 7E, the hike and bike trail. No update to report on that. I left 2 phone calls, voicemails to 2 of the engineers over there at the district engineer for 346 to check on if they were able to confirm with this precinct that they're able to apply for new call for projects. Did not get a call back, but I call again. But the last correspondence I had, I saw correspondence between 346 and Bowman that they were working to get that all submitted. No confirmation.
So on the 2 lift stations, the generators, everything ready to go. We're just waiting for this.
Yes, and this was the same update that I gave you last time. But so when I checked last week, has the service gas been installed? And they said no, not yet. And then I said, well, can you call somebody at CenterPoint to see if you can? And so he put in a call and said, so he's probably going to do the same thing.
Is
Correct. To start up, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
It's important we have that before the hurricane.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So we do have the rentals that are still on site and is ongoing until everything's set up, tested, and fully working. So we do have that redundancy.
And then the generator at the joint wastewater treatment plant, is that the same status? Everything is set up, ready to go, except for the gas?
That's correct.
There's something more we should do.
And other than other than just having the contractor be on the contractor, that's the only feel like pushing the issue. If you feel like take an extra step, I can see if I can call directly. I feel like it's hopefully
You can speed that up.
I
Yes.
wouldn't think it would take too much.
Yes,
to go
yes,
start a
yeah.
service. They probably want to get paid, but not only.
maybe I'll just put into the contractor and just say, it's really important to the board that we
Yeah.
need this before hurricane season. Hurricane season is about to start in June, so
Yeah.
maybe that kind of urgency kind
Yeah.
of related.
Please do.
Yeah. The last item, 7F, the service line inventory for the new lead and copper regulations. No update on that. One thing that I don't think was on my report was the Ezee Fiber ramp in the district. I did call Alex Hardin with the Harris County Precinct 4 and mentioned to him and showed him the pictures of the ramp. He did say, yes, this is something that we've handled before with issues like this and other developments. He looked into it. He saw that unfortunately there was no active permits with Ezee Fiber in the area. However, so that was a permitting issue, but he did say his inspectors drove out there and did see all the Ezee Fiber boxes. So nothing directly points to them, but it's highly likely them. So Ezee Fiber has been, the inspector out there has been working with Ezee Fiber on other developments. So he'll mention this issue here, try to get them to probably admit to what they tried to fix and see if they can fix that. The other thing that Alex Hardin said with Precinct 4 was that residents can also file a complaint on their website, but that's the information that
Point of clarification, I mean, just about the permit, is it possible that the permit, like, does it have an end date? Like, are we past their active permit?
No, he was saying he researched in their system that they're active permits.
So they didn't have a permit to do the work in our
and
neighborhood.
that was his word.
Okay, thank you for that information.
All right, any questions on the engineer's report?
Any update on the environmental assessment?
Oh, yes, we received the title commitment from the attorney, gave the title commitment to our environmental group. They should be finishing up. The phase 1 ESA was complete. They did the site visit. It was complete. They just needed the title. I will follow up on
All right, the action item in report is $1,091.
Paying that won't reduce you said you put up to the contractor to Interpont to get the gas hooked up. Dollars, that lower their incentive for that?
Not their final.
No, it's
So
not. Yeah,
they-
That's just
they
a minimum
still
payment.
have-
It's not tithing.
no, we still have retainage. Yes.
Motion to. All in favor? Agenda item 8 is the status of the acquisition of property owned by Second Baptist Church. We closed. Agenda item 9.
All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. If you grab my report, turn past the cover page. The previous action items, the fire hydrant repairs, those were approved last month. Getting scheduled to get completed. Of course, I'll bring an update once it is. The outfall cleaning we discussed last month has been completed, so that is done. Information sent to our group that works with the TC. Get all that documentation over to them. Good to go on that front. As far as sent to them, and so it's just the bill and search. Just we discussed it, waiting for the web. No action there. Our current action items we did have at lift station 1, lift pump 1 failed. It's a year 2021 5 horsepower submersible pump. You can see if you turn to the next page, our repair versus replace totals. It is under 50% warranty still, and so these numbers do reflect that. So for the repair, which is on the left side, is the 5100. To replace is 12,800. The failure caused just the impeller had worn out, and so needs to be repaired or replaced. But given that it's still under warranty, it's only a few years old. Suggested route to go, but of course, up to you, board. Our next item is just our annual identity theft prevention red flag incidents, and so that's on the page right behind the estimates for the lift pump. And so there are no incidents for calendar year 2023, no suggested changes or anything on our end. Working as intended.
What's the implication of having one? Is there one pump per lift station?
No, there's more than one, but you always want to have, anytime one fails, we'll put a rental in. So if there's an issue, that there is a redundancy backup.
We have a rental in now.
Correct. So this was.
Sorry if you said that. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I didn't. I apologize. But it's always recommended to have, at least two up and running, just for this instance. If one fails, one can pick up.
So
the
are there
slack.
two? How many pumps does each lift station have? One or two?
At least two.
At least two.
All
Seems like the repair, since the pump is, and that's what you're recommending.
And it's still 50% warranty, so that brought down the cost to this.
Okay.
All right, so moving back to the executive summary page, compliance, no issues there, nothing to report. Our water supply through the 216 interconnect was 2,732,000 gallons, which brings our total to 4,260,000. Metered and billed for 345, 16,083,000. For 346, 2,960,000. Accountability 95.27%. Well, GPM's holding steady at 1535. Note no excursions for the wastewater treatment or collection side. Moving to operations, have our monthly flushing. Our meters are back in now, so we're picking back up our meter changeout program. So we did do 24 of those. Had 4 level and sods from previous leak repairs that were completed. Sanitary sewer or standard monthly lab work. And then we did have one sewer line main that was repaired within the district. And then last section here, customer care. Had 45 delinquent letters sent, 16 tags, and then 5 disconnects. No collections or write-offs for consumer. As far as the report goes, that's all I have for you today.
Any questions? So the action item with respect to the operator's is repair. I'm based off of what I
Yes.
heard, but
Yes.
authorize the repair of the lift one as recommended.
Motion.
Okay.
All right. Agenda item I under 9 is the status of the water conservation plan. Adoption of any amendment appropriate, including adoption of a this was talked about when you guys authorized the review, but no recommendation recommended by your operator or your engineer. So we adopt the resolution. Re-adopt. The same goes for J, your drought contingency. Re-adopting. Item L is authorizing your operator. Here. Form that your operator complete. Our firm comes to the but if we could get, are there any questions? No, but a motion to adopt that resolution plan about contingency. A second. Okay, all right, then move on to item K, supplemental and emergency water supply. Talked about last month that I got a call from the team attorney about doing some sort of just emergency water supply contract operator and so I have spoken with the 16 and what he is envisioning is emergency water supply where the what constitutes. So if 355 determines that it needs water over the summer, then you guys have the authority. Have you worked out in the past? So price that I talked with him for that money for the water and would be $1 per gallon. Okay with that? Doesn't want to agree with respect. So if you guys are okay with that, you can authorize me to draft it all for the following. Go ahead and send it dollar amount. Whatever you guys want, or if you want to think about it more, that's completely fine.
$2 the going rate. That's what we're.
That's what you have with West Park. Have it on the agenda, but Green also agreed to that. So I'll have y'all authorize me later in the meeting. All right. Then if I can get a motion, authorize me to draft that, and then I'll.
Motion.
Agenda. Okay, so that's it for the operator's report that I had. Do you guys have anything else to talk about on the operator's report?
Unless y'all wanted to discuss the interconnect.
Do you guys want whether, and you guys can have about it, but if the if you guys,
As long as it,
It's up to y'all.
yeah, it's up to you guys whether you want to figure out what the cost estimate and all that is.
How long would it take to pull together a cost estimate?
I think what you give us the next board
That makes sense.
to help
I think we
reduce
need,
that.
yeah. Jake.
Guys, determined your grade longer.
I think
Yeah.
that's what we need to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as part of that discussion, I think it's important to understand all different scenarios. If we go with it, with our water X sources spike, and how would that versus don't.
and when the second water.
Yeah, and look at all those different. I think we need to have a good robust about all those different. Not an obvious.
But you make a deal with West Park and then they go down, time.
We don't, because we can't get,
All your eggs in one basket.
Yes, just so you know, there is also, Alan, correct. PC. I think people know when your surface water and
Correct. I spoke to our compliance group and they say usually it's
How long?
60 days. So,
And are there any issues with the hospital in the district? Anything that change anything for them?
that you would want to give them probably a little more advance notice because of whatever procedures
Right.
they may have for that. But I guess that would come later once y'all do decide what you want to do and always give them notice.
I mean, does that prevent them from using that? I mean, is that
no, they
present
just
a
have to,
hardship?
they just have to.
They,
water.
yeah, they have
I mean,
to treat it.
there are
Yeah.
tons of hospitals. You know, it's just they'll have to.
but from the time we say we want to do this, it's about a year. So at that point in time, we buy hospital.
Certainly can, yeah.
Potentially any other low water backup. As an alternative, if we wanted to stay on well water backup.
For example, what about, could we don't have an interconnect with Mason Creek, get an inter supplement. There are other interconnects we could tap into potentially.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We would have to go back and look at, I guess, where those districts are relative to
Mason
yours.
Creek's adjacent to ours, that's why I kind of, that's why that came to mind. There may be some not coming.
I'm just thinking out loud, but you would need to build the infrastructure. Those facilities too.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if you guys. He only requires one course. Get rid of West Park, going for water well and 260 Longhorn.
I think it's just, yeah, I'm just thinking, let's get everything on the table.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah,
know.
I agree.
I'm
I
just
agree.
thinking it from that perspective. I think it is going to be a long discussion and all decisions. If the answer is no, there is no other, interconnect option. It's not going to cost us $2 million. At least we know.
How many districts take supplementals if they can't do it all themselves, like West Park? Does it take at least 2, or does it take 3 to meet all of our needs if something catastrophic happens?
Right.
With the second level, really our own backup.
Yes.
Current well is end of life.
Motion.
Okay.
What was that, Angela?
Their current well is end of life, so that it's not redundant if we have one that's end of. The whole point of drilling the second well is because our current well is end of life and it's exceeded its usable lifespan according to everything I've observed over the past year. That's why we're building the second well.
We're doing it for backup.
You don't know it's in. We just.
Okay,
So
I'll go back and that's what was
I
stated.
guess what we're saying is there's no way to know precisely when the well is going to end.
Yes.
It's not like it's
Really?
end of life right now.
There's no reason to be
So
patronizing.
So therefore, that's why we're building a second well, because our engineer has told us, look, we're getting to the point where typically wells like this, you need to consider having a backup. We haven't really seen any significant issues that indicate we're going to lose our well anytime soon.
Of course.
So there's a difference. Just make sure everybody understands. We're not at risk of losing our current well. It's not like it's end of life in the next month or year. as far as we can tell, as far as our engineering folks are telling us. So they're all things, you got to factor in all aspects.
Yes, you do.
There's risk.
You
and
do have to
there's-
factor in everything. And the fact that we're building a second well because we've been advised that our current well is approaching and exceeding the expected usability time frame. That's why we're building the second well. The second well was not intended to be our emergency backup. The second well, as I understand it, as that has been presented, is because we needed to do this because we don't know how much longer. We don't know how much
You're
longer.
saying the same thing I'm saying. Saying exactly the same.
Right,
We've
but
always
so
said
if
that
it's
was a benefit.
if it's to okay, so listen to this. What happens when the current well fails and we only have the new well and we don't have an emergency interconnect?
That's why we're having the discussion next week.
Exactly.
That's precisely why we're having the discussion next
Wait,
week.
next
to
week?
Or whenever. Next meeting. That's to understand all those implications. It's not a simple answer. It's very complicated, as we've just discussed. There's multiple interconnects. There's the chlorine discussion to consider. There's the new well to consider. There's a lot of moving parts. So
There
it's
are.
not as simple. So that's why we're going to talk about it next week
Month.
or next month, whatever. And the fact that we have a well that's currently working now, that yes is something that we need to look at, because eventually we know that well is not going to last forever.
Right.
But there's no indications that that well is going to empty out anytime in the near. So we just need to understand that in the context of the discussion. It's not like we have an emergency situation. And that's why we started planning for this new well last year, because we know there's a long runway to get done. So we're well within the parameters to do that with a lot of contingency. And if anybody understands our district, they understand that we have multiple contingencies in place. As this board has looked and built out this, we have contingency upon contingency upon contingency, which is why we've never lost water. Okay, we have never been without water in any natural disaster situation, freeze, Hurricane Harvey, and there's a lot of districts around us that have. So people need to understand that this is complicated and it's not a simple solution. And so that's when we look at this, and we'll look at it next week. We're going to look at it through that lens of multiple layers of contingency so that we will continue to be able to provide water and sewer consistently for everybody.
I agree 100%. Exactly what this board has done from day one is working on redundancy, make sure that the
Anything else with respect to the operator's report? Agenda item 10 is the status of installation of a high overpass on Friday. Anything? Agenda item 11 is approval of an amended rate order and connection water reduction. Not received rate increase. Really give it before effect. We still don't have, operator hasn't done it. We have asked around other cities. And they,
you think it might be a decrease?
well, we know it's not a decrease. If you guys recall, I adopted like 5 years, set forth what that rate is going to be, not the CPI increase. From Houston, which last year, but we do know it's 7 cents. But that's just what they. So it's completely up to you guys if you adopt a order now for that 7 cents, knowing you will probably make most of our That's just the, not the
Right.
districts. I was like,
Yeah.
sure, oh, that's clear.
That's it, that's, we don't have any option.
Did we get those numbers? It's gonna be the 7 cents.
It is for sure 7 cents, but
Yeah.
So will it be
effective.
So we need to go ahead and make the amendment then to incorporate the 7 cents and the adjustment.
That's my
Effective?
question. That's my
Effective?
question. Whether you want to go ahead and increase.
But it is gonna be effective. Retroactive adjustment is per.
Last year, if you guys remember, was that did not. But last year was
Is this gonna continue? Or it'll be whatever that.
well, I can tell you. So I think
Seven,
6.
did you say 7 first?
Yes,
Maybe I
but now that I'm
misunderstood.
looking.
I mean, I certainly don't want to increase it,
Right.
but I don't know that we have out of our control.
Forget it.
Is that, or so are we not, what's the probability? We saying we're not sure if we're increase or?
Five-year plan numbers.
As far as I know, you're getting that 6.
Was
I mean, I
effective
don't-
April?
They do anything they
They
want.
can do what they want, yeah.
So-
We still
So
can't
we're-
even figure out
we're-
how they come up with their inflationary,
But
So
if
I-
there's a chance
so-
they're gonna amend. How much money?
it would be cents per
Per 1,000 gallons. Or what
1,000
is-
gallons.
how many thousands did we run last month? Total water.
We metered and billed 16,083,000.
$15,080,000.
83.
$1,125.
How much?
$725.81.
7,000?
Or 1,100. We double check.
For the month divided by 6 cents.
0.06. Yeah,
964.
'cause I did 7.
You did the 7 cents.
Sorry, that was my fault. I don't know where I got 7. I wrote it down. It's very clearly here 6. So
Around
glad I
$1,000.
brought it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we can just hopefully hopefully get the notice. But we'll reach out to the city. Okay, all right, we will defer that. Agenda item 12 is the Green Trails monthly report. We do have the March report for you guys, and the beat activity for March. We gave you a copy of the letter that all of our Harris County life that you guys know will not affect you, because you have their cost is opposite is as you know, no action item report. Agenda item 13, mass community messaging system. I have an update from the status of the waiting on draft of you. So, and then after the meeting. Agenda item 14 is the status of the audit. That is not item 15 is the emergency. I reached out following so if I authorization circulate their written approval. The way I'm going to draft it is sharing it if you guys are all right with that.
Okay.
Sound good? It'll be $1, which is okay. All right, get a motion.
Motion.
Favor? Agenda item 16, attorney's report. You guys asked me since the in district 55, which is the
That's what it was before. What it is currently, based on a decision that
a long time.
how long.
What's the address?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
They're an indoor.
Things just
It's all out.
There's an office area.
very small.
And then one thing I wanted to bring up is there was out for post. Our firm is a member, which we will write a draft, but is very, very careful. It can be so we will prepare a memorandum. That's just a warning. Respect. Oh, one other thing. The GRP groundwater. You guys remember the city of Houston, John and we got the result. It is Snyder, who was vice president. Fisher was the president of Harris County. We have questions how all of our attorneys tested what the breakdown of the there was many. have confirmation. This is, as far as we know. But questions? All right, agenda item 17 is discuss status of litigation involving the district. I do not have an update for you guys with respect to that. We'll go into talk about the second property. Future.
Yes, if we could for next month, an amendment update for the professional service agreement or PSA agreement for the district. Getting that update. Bring that.
Y'all okay with that?
Yep. Yes.
All right, great. Then it is 101. 55